Hello, welcome to Tim Anderson Horse Training. For today's video, I thought I would talk about this horse. This is Dixie is her name. She's a 3-year-old filly. She just came in yesterday. I have not done anything with her yet, so I thought I would do kind of what my evaluation first ride is on the horse and talk about what I see and go from there. As I said, she's a 3-year-old filly. The owner of this horse has sent me a few horses, and he's always been straight up with me as far as what they are, or if they have any issues. And he did tell me that this one, you just have to kind of pull her head around to get her to steer, and she's kind of lazy. You have to kick her forward to make her go. So I expect she's going to be that way. He said she didn't have any bad habits as far as wanting to buck or anything like that, and so he's been straight up with me so far, so I'm not expecting anything different. But even the case, even being that, I'm still going to pay attention to what I'm seeing, and it might influence what I do with her for this first ride. 99% of the time, especially a young horse, if they're going to buck or do something bad, they're going to give me some sort of sign before. So we'll talk about her. Like I said, I haven't worked her before. This is my first time, so we'll kind of figure it out together, and I'll talk about what I'm seeing. So, cross ties. She's been standing good. She seems to tie just fine. No issues there. I have let her out of the barn and back in a couple times. She's been fine there. She's been easy to catch, so none of that has been a problem. So just kind of brush over her. I did notice there's a little puff of white hair on this back left leg. Looks like might be an old scar of some type right in there. I feel a little bit of scar tissue, but I don't see where that's an issue. It doesn't seem to be bothering her. And right there, you noticed I put my hand on her, and she lifted that leg up. She didn't try to kick at me, which is good to see. But now if you notice, she's standing on this leg, has all the weight on this leg and not that leg. So she's trying to tell me that she really don't want me to mess with this leg too much.
My audio kind of continued to deteriorate from this point, so I'm going to have to narrate it after the fact. So if my voice doesn't match, the video doesn't match what I'm saying, that's why. So I'm brushing on the other side. I noticed that she looks like she might have rubbed a little bit of her mane out on the fence someplace. A little piece of her mane missing, but no big deal. I could tell this horse has been handled a lot. She really understands being in a cross tie. She understands being brushed, and I like what I'm seeing here. She looks like she's going to be a pretty nice horse so far. So now we're going to pick out her feet. We'll see how that goes. Run my hand down her leg. Not quite picking it up too good. I'm not going to force it. I'm going to kind of wait on her, let her shift her weight a little bit. Not really trying to be defiant. She's just like she not used to having it picked up a whole bunch. But shifting her weight just a little bit right here, just to try to balance herself. It's not really doing anything bad or trying to pull away. She just kind of acting like she hasn't had it done a whole bunch, but she has had it done enough that she understands and isn't fighting it. This horse has got pretty good feed. It looks like she has been trimmed regularly for a while, so and trimmed pretty recently. So her feet look good. She just needs it done more. Really no problem. Just needs to mess with her feet more. But kind of to be expected for a horse this age. So we'll get on to the last foot. She kind of shifted her balance just a little bit. I like to see that. Just not quite willing to give it to me right away, but that's okay. Just keep doing it regular, and that's going to get better. See, at no point pulled any of the 4 feet away from me. So I set it back down gently. She kind of has that rope up over her ears, and it doesn't seem to really be bothering her. So So I like that. I think this horse has been tied a pretty good bit. She understands being tied and has had the rope up around her face and really doesn't seem to bother her. Now I'm going to put the saddle pad on. I'm going to treat her like a broke horse. If I don't ever start treating them like a broke horse, they'll never become a broke horse. And also, if I don't treat them like a broke horse, then I might not see any holes in their training that I need to work on. So I'm going to just throw that pad on, probably maybe even a little more aggressively than I would if she was an older horse, just to see how she takes it. And she really took that just fine. So same thing with the saddle. Throw it up there like I expect my end result to be. If uh, if she didn't handle that good, then that would tell me that's something I need to work on. She handled that very well, so that tells me I can move on and see what else I need to work on. For a 3-year-old horse, she is standing in these cross ties really well. Really like what I'm seeing there. Now, I didn't put a back girth on her today. I'll probably put it on her in the rider too. Just kind of see where we're at today first. And I'm going to bring the girth up and I'm going to get it snug enough in the barn that the saddle doesn't fall off. But I'm not going to tighten it all the way until I walk her out of the barn. And that's something I don't ever do with a young horse or an older horse. I'm going to tighten that girth up in a couple of different stages, a couple of different times, because I don't want to create a problem. I don't want to scare the horse and make her girthy. So I got it tight enough there that it won't fall off. And have not found any holes yet. That anything saddle wise that I need to work on. So now I'm gonna put a bridle on. This is just a plain smooth mouth D-ring snaffle. Has copper inlays, just a basic Western snaffle bit. And so here I'll put the bridle on, see how she takes it. Drop the lead rope down over her neck, and I'll tie it back around her neck just so I'll have something to hold on to in case she does walk away or pull back or something. Put the bridle up between her teeth. Just kind of give her a chance to open her mouth. Took it really well. Really happy with that. Kind of just put it up there and gave her a chance to open her mouth and take it, and she did. So that tells me that this horse has been bridled quite a few times and bridled correctly. So that's a good indication that to me that she has had a fair amount of riding time on her. So we'll walk her out to the barn and or to the arena and see what happens. Okay, so we're out in my riding arena. This is the first time she has been out here. Um, she's not been in this arena at all, so everything out here is new to her, and she doesn't seem too worried about anything. So glad to see that. Went on to go on and tighten my saddle a little bit more. Uh, Walk her forward a little bit. This horse has been handled a good bit. That's one thing I am noticing. She right there with me when I'm leading. She still acts like a baby. She acts like a 3-year-old, but she has been handled a lot. Chewing on a bit, a little bit, which that might be a little bit of nervousness. So we'll see. Pulling her legs forward, something I always do. It kind of have to pull a little bit of skin out from behind the girth, and I've noticed when I started doing that, I have virtually no issues with girth rubs or anything, and I think it makes the horse a little bit more comfortable. Kind of pawed a little bit right there. Didn't like that, but she didn't pin her ears or seem real angry or anything. So just keep that in mind and keep on going. Check the saddle there. It's still pretty snug. And I'll bring her around to the mountain block to step on. I just about always use a mountain block nowadays. And beginning when I was younger, I didn't. I figured I'd jump up on anything, but now after getting on quite a few horses, my knees hurt, so I use a mountain block. And also, most horses nowadays, the riders or many more horses than used to. Riders use them out blocked. So it's good to get the horse used to it. Get him a stand to get on, especially if you're going to show in like ranch trail, ranch versatility type classes. A lot of times getting on and off of the mountain block is a trail obstacle. So good for a horse to know. Kind of turned around and looked at me. Not really a big deal. If you notice with the reins, I don't have them real loose, but I don't have them real tight either. I'm not pulling on her face. I don't want to give her a reason to worry. And right here, I'm just kind of shaking the saddle a little bit. I'll see how she reacts. If I shake the saddle and she rounds her back up, then that tells me that she might worry a little bit. But it's kind of, she's looking around. She don't seem too worried about what I'm doing. So I like that. I'm going to go ahead and step on and swing my leg over and sit down gently. Walked off a step, not too bad. Notice I stopped her from walking before I worried about putting that foot in that stirrup. I don't need that foot in that stirrup. I need her to stop walking. So you get on a horse and that horse walks off as soon as you get on, don't worry about that stirrup. Get the horse stopped first. That's more important than you putting that foot in the stirrup. Turned around, looked at my foot. Really seems pretty relaxed, taking everything in. Chewed on the bit a little bit. She has that back leg cocked. Swishing her tail a little bit. It's about 40 degrees, 45 degrees. I don't think there's any flies in there for her to swish her tail at. Pretty chilly day. But just kind of sitting, letting her relax. I want to really encourage the horse to stand after I get on. If you get on and immediately walk off, then that's what the horse is going to expect. Now, because she had a tendency to walk off forward, when I do walk off, I'm not going to walk straight off forward. Back her up a step and turn and then walk away. I want to get that forward out of her mind. So we'll walk around a little bit. I apologize, I walk out of frame a couple of times, several times. But that's what happens when you don't have a camera operator to operate your camera for you. And so I'm just walking around here, kind of getting the feel of her. Let her get the feel of me. Let her take things in. Ears are relaxed. She's really kind of walking pretty relaxed in general. I do have spurs on, and try to use my calf first. I am having to use my spurs a good bit to get her to walk, which I would like that to get better over time. But for today, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to get her walking. So we're just kind of walking and steering. I'm just pulling her head around one way, pulling her head around the other way. And it's basically just like I had said that the owner had told me. Just have to pull on her a little bit, push on her with your legs to make her go. Seems pretty relaxed. She seems pretty safe. I walked out of frame again. I apologize. I'll walk back in again. Normally I look in my camera and get an idea of where I can be walking and not leave the camera frame. But I think I forgot to do that this time. So right there, I asked her to stop. Stop pretty easy. See what we get for a back up. Not too bad. She kind of pushed in with her hands a little bit, but she did move her feet backwards. Okay, so I got some steer and I got some stop. I've got some backup. Go ahead and ask her to trot a little bit. Let's see what we get. It's pretty disconnected right there. She needs a little bit more, probably a little bit more bump up my reins, encourage her to go forward. I didn't kick a whole lot real the first time because I don't really know what to expect. Getting a little bit. I'm asking her to trot a little bit more. The more we trot, the better it gets. I think getting her in the woods, trotting on some trails and down some dirt roads probably do her a lot of good. Now I'm going to ask for a little bit of lope, see what I get. So that's pretty good. She actually has a pretty smooth lope. I think that lope's going to be pretty nice. Again, I apologize. I keep walking out of frame. That's why I keep clipping the video down. There's another lope there. She needs a little bit more impulsion. Again, I think taking her out in the woods and loping her trail will help her. You see right there at the end, she wasn't wanting to steer real good. I'm lifting my right rein. I want to get them shoulders up a little bit. That's going to help round her back, help with some impulsion, and it's also going to help her lope, help her steering. So I want to lift that rein up. All right, so we're going to just steer around these cones just a little bit. Watch how I use my hands. I'm going to lift up like I just mentioned. What that's going to do, that's going to round her shoulders just a little bit, round her body, elevate her shoulders, get her started. A little bit softer rein. There we go. The softer I get that front end so that she has less weight on her front end, she is a little bit front end heavy. The more I can get her back rounded and get her softer on the front end, the better my steering is going to be, and ultimately later the better my stop is going to be. Get the shoulders rounded, I'll be able to get the back end down a little bit so we'll have some better stops. So we'll just walk and steer around these cones. Really don't have to have the cones out there, but it does help give her a visual of what we're steering around. That way she doesn't think I'm just pulling on her face for no reason. There is something that we're steering around. Change directions, work the other direction a little bit, pulling her up right side a little bit, ask her to steer on this side. Kind of walk around, steering around. She's actually steering a little bit better to the right than she was to the left. That's why I'm not pulling as hard or lifting my hand as far. I start lifting and she steers and I get soft. Right there I'm having to keep up her on forward a little bit. As I lift my hand and I'm getting a little bit of roundness, I need to have the impulsion in the back end to complete that roundness. So I want to get some roundness through the body, but I need an impulsion from the back end to push forward and complete that roundness coming around. Let's ask her to back up. Let's see what we get. Kind of pushing on her face a little bit. I'm going to give her a little squeeze with my legs and get a step back and another step back and release. Squeeze, release. Take the slack out, squeeze with my legs, and release. I don't want to be pulling her back with my hands. At this point, if I pull back, she's just going to pull more forward. So I'm taking the slack out and then I'm squeezing with my legs. What I want to do with my legs is to elevate her back. And as I elevate and round her back and lift her shoulders, that's what encourages her to back up. So I think I'm going to do a backing video specifically on backing. I think I'm going to use this horse. This is going to be a good example. So watch for that video to come out in the future. And I'll talk about how to improve the backup from here. So overall, I like this horse. I think she has a lot of potential. And I'll be making some more videos of her in the future of what I'm doing with her. So I hope you tune in to watch. And I want to thank you for watching today.